Full shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can put all that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Welcome to GTV. Big up to your damn selves, guys. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you share and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, you know, it's the international break, you know, so we've got some time. We've got some time where we can, you know, chat about some other stuff, you know, going on in terms of, you know, other teams, you know, different perspectives, etc., etc. And of course, you guys already know GTV. It's not just Liverpool chat that we, of course, that's the main kind of focus. But you know what I mean? We wanna talk about football, man. We wanna talk about football. We wanna talk about other teams. You know what I mean? You know, my opinion on other teams and etc. So I said, you know what? We're gonna take a look at the top four, current top four, of course, you know, their title chances. You know, we're on game week, well, we're going into 12 after the international break. So I said, you know what, we've had 11 games. I said at the beginning of the season, once we get to like 10 plus games, you know, and then of course, international break, we can take a look at the Premier League. We can, the league starts to take its shape, so to speak, in terms of, all right, these guys look good, these guys look bad, or these guys look average, these guys need to get better, etc., etc. You know, all that kind of stuff. But also, you know, we look at players, we look at managers, and you know, there's several, you know, different things that we can get a better picture of. Of course, it's not the full picture. It's not even really half the picture. It's only 10 games, right? So there's nothing to be too over the top about, you know, in regards to everything. It's just really taking stock and taking a look at things, you know, moving forward. So I said, we're going to look at the top four of the Premier League at this current moment in time, and that is Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, and of course Liverpool, who are 5 points clear at the top of the table. So today's segment, or today's edition, is taking a look at Arsenal. We're going to be taking a look at Arsenal. Arsenal's title chances. Oh my god. So what I'm going to do, guys, obviously, obviously this is going to be pre-recorded, of course, so I'll be in the chat, we'll be chopping it up, so you guys can let me know your thoughts and of anything that I've said, and you know, I can answer any questions and anything like that. I guess it's a bit more easier for me to do it this way as well for something like this, because then I can just chop out with you guys, you know, in the chat, and it's not going to be hopefully too long anyway. But you know me, I like to waffle. At the end of this, or you'll see the pinned comment will be my percentage, the percentage I give to each of the four teams. Yeah, you'll see it as a pinned comment anyway, so you guys obviously, you'll notice it. Let me know what you guys think. Heck, I might even change my mind, you know, midway through the stream. Sometimes I record these things, I watch it back, and then I think again. You know what I mean? I start to rethink about, you know, what I was actually thinking about, you know, when I recorded these kind of videos, you know. So I'm recording all of these videos. This is about like the 11th of November, so by the time this is posted out, hey, who knows, my mind might have changed. But listen, we'll chop it up regardless. But as I said, today we're taking a look at Arsenal. They're currently sitting, you know, in fourth in the Premier League at this current moment in time. Mikel Arteta, you know, it's his, what are we now? I don't know, phase 5, 5th year, 6th year, whatever it is, since he's obviously come in. You know, listen, first and foremost, I think when it comes to Arsenal, and Arsenal are such an interesting one to kind of start off with, because it's not even, for me, it's not even necessarily about Arsenal the club or Arsenal the team. It's all your fans, and I know I keep harping on about it. I know, but I have to, because I just feel like you exhibit these things every single time, and it's like, bro, are you not serious? Like, now, unfortunately, unfortunately, I actually like Arsenal as a football club. Like them when I was growing up. To be honest, you had a lot of my favorite players, you know, playing for your teams and stuff like that. So there was never any, would I say, somewhat malice or anything like that. I like Thierry Henry. I'm left-footed. I like Marc Overmars, Emmanuel Petit. You know, I like Patrick Vieira, Nicolas Anelka at the time. Who else did I like? Obviously, Ashley Cole, one of my favorite players. Again, left. I'm a lefty, so a lot of left-footed players that you guys had. It's one of those. And also, Arsenal kind of seen as this, like, would I say, for the culture type of club. Typical. It's just one of them things. If you're part of the culture, you'll know what I mean. If you're not a part of the culture, you won't know. It's fine. It's really not that deep. If you know type of vibes, right? And that's how it was always when I was growing up. Anyway, with Arsenal, it was like kind of for the culture, and they were like the cool team. And I think it was obviously players like Thierry Henry. He made things so cool. That's why people call him. People of my kind of generation and stuff. That's why we call him, the best player in the Premier League or of Premier League history, because it wasn't the fact that, of course, he was one of the best strikers we've ever seen. It wasn't just that. It was his swagger. It was the way that he did things, And I say all of this to say, for a long time, in the last couple of seasons, obviously Arsenal have been challenging for the title. They've fumbled the bag, I would say, in their first attempt. I can't see how you can't say anything else. Cool. We move on to the second attempt. They were close. I think they finished, about 2 points off of Manchester City last season. And then now, we're heading into this season. Obviously, they've spent a lot of money. You guys know me. I don't really use the money thing like that. I'm not really one of those kind of guys. If you want to use it, I'm not saying that's not, a viable argument, because it is, ultimately. But I just don't use it in the level of excuse people will give, whether it be a pro or a con. They've spent money. It doesn't really matter. Money doesn't equate to winning things, and it shouldn't actually equate to winning things, because if so, then teams like Nottingham Forest, West Ham, and all these kind of people, we'd then be expecting them to win, and we don't. And they spend a lot more money than most. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And they're not better than, a few other teams. It's about who you sign. We've seen it with Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp. Listen, you sign the right players, you get the right manager in, you're good to go. It's not just about just spending the money, kind of thing. It doesn't really work like that. But he spent a lot of time trying to change up this team and their mentality and stuff like that. And he's done so. So when we're looking at the title chances this season, obviously, as I said, they're, sitting fourth in the league. I mean, I think, to me, they've been a bit average. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I could have actually done a top 5 chances, but I said I'm going to be a bit more respectful. Because and listen, this might change, by the way, by the time we get to game week 20, when we get all 19 or whatever it is, when we get to there, for example, I might say, hey, I might need to put in another team when we're doing title chances. We're going to keep doing this, every kind of 10 game block. We'll kind of take stock and we'll take a look at, all of these teams, because I feel like that's a good 10 games is such a mass amount of games, considering you've also got other games from other competitions that they're all in. The top 4 are all involved in Europe, kind of thing. So I just feel like it makes sense. But obviously, we're just looking at the Premier League. Arsenal played 11 games. They've won 5, drawn 4, and lost 2 games, scoring 18, but conceding 12 goals. Now, it's a lot of goals for them to be conceding, to me anyway. That feels like a lot of goals. And considering, they talk about having like the best defense, we've got Jurrien Timber, Ben White, Saliba, Calafiori, Gabriel. I know Tomiyasu and, is always injured. Zinchenko, they don't seem like they rate. Kivior, they don't really seem like they rate, kind of thing. But when you look at these, would I say 5 players, these are the players that, they brought in Calafiori, obviously, over the summer. Jurrien Timber obviously signed last season, but was injured. They signed these kind of players. It's a lot like what Man City do in terms of centre-backs who can play full-back and all that kind of stuff. So it's almost like trying to play that similar type of football, which is totally understandable. I think all 5 are really good defenders. Obviously, Saliba and Gabriel are the 2 standouts, but Jurrien Timber, I think, is a good defender. Calafiori is a good defender. And I think Ben White is also a very good defender. So they've got 5 really good, defenders. But this season just hasn't really clicked for them. Now, obviously, they'll point to injuries, injuries to, like, key players. Obviously, Martin Odegaard being probably the biggest one. That's the one for me anyway, when I'm looking at it in terms of their title chances. Obviously, he's now back. But when I look at them and I think to myself, Jesus Christ. I mean, I saw the game against Chelsea. And yeah, he's one of the best players in the Premier League anyway. Let's not even lie. He's one of the best players. I would love to have Martin Odegaard, in my team. Fantastic player. Absolutely fantastic player. But, I'm looking at this team. It's a good team. It's a really good team. Raya in goal. He's a good goalkeeper. He's proven to be, pretty good in the last couple of seasons now. Jurrien Timber, I think, is good. Gabriel, Saliba have proven, obviously, to be good. Ben White is good. Rice, I rate Rice. Partey, I'm a bit near about, but he's been playing pretty decent this season. Obviously, Martin Odegaard, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. It's a good team. It's a really, it's a good team. There's no two ways about it. But of course, as I mentioned before, for them, it's been about getting injuries to key players, and also their disciplinary record this season hasn't really been that great. I think they've got the most red cards, I believe. Again, let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong. So I do apologize if I am, but I'm sure they've got the most red cards in the Premier League this season. That's not good. You're getting players sent off for dissent. You're getting players sent off, for silly fouls and stuff like, it's silliness. And this is where the lack of discipline, kind of comes in, I feel, with a team like Arsenal. And that's one of the main things, obviously, that I've kind of seen, with them this season is more about the lack of discipline that they've had. They've had, like I said, it's been so up and down. Drew to Chelsea, lost to Inter Milan, lost to Newcastle, obviously drew to Liverpool in there, lost to Bournemouth in there. It's been so up and down recently, especially in their recent form. It's not really been that great. And as I say, listen, they'll tell you about all the injuries and stuff like that. But for me, I think one of the main things that they miss, or one of the main things that they don't actually have, is they don't really have that much experience of players who are used to winning, or players who have won, or a manager who has won. So it's hard looking at like Manchester City because it's Man City. Pep Guardiola has been winning, so you can, and they've got money to spend, so you can kind of buy that kind of experience. But I guess the only real team I can liken it to is to Liverpool. You get a manager who's been who's actually won stuff in their career. So didn't win masses of things at Dortmund, but he's won a Bundesliga title against, not even arguably, against the best team, in that country, and a team who have dominated that league, kind of thing. You also then start to get in certain type of players. So James Milner, I always accredit Liverpool's kind of journey with players like James Milner. I know people will look to the Van Dijks, the Joao Matip's, the Alissons, and all these. Listen, all fantastic players. Of course they are. James Milner was one of, in my opinion, in Liverpool's top 3 best signings that we probably could have made under Jurgen Klopp anyway. Not because of his ability. He's a good player. He's standard. Do you know what I mean? He was better when he was younger, of course. But he came from Manchester City. He came from a club where he was quite an important kind of player, if I'm being honest, until he started to get shafted around in terms of positions. But that club and the winning mentality that they had, it was infectious. You know what I mean? And then what that then happens is that you then come to a team like Liverpool, who've got a manager first and foremost who has won things. You yourself have won things. So now certain things change in terms of the mentality of certain players. And then, of course, listen, what then helps is certain signings that you make. So you sign in the Van Dijks, you sign in the Alissons, the Mo Salahs, the Sadio Manes, all these kind of guys, right? But it's just about kind of building. Now, listen, they're still on their journey. They're still, ultimately, with Mikel Arteta, they're still on that kind of journey of, trying to get to that kind of position, even if it is winning an FA Cup here or a Carabao Cup there or whatever it might be. I feel like they're still kind of on that kind of journey. And I know Arsenal fans look at it and think, is this phase 5? And, we haven't won anything, we haven't done anything, and et cetera, et cetera. And they have every right to. They really do. And I said, I've said already that if Arsenal don't win something this season, for me, I don't think it's as bad as people, kind of make out. In terms of the only way you get away with it is if Manchester City are the team that go and win something. The reason why I say that is because if Manchester City go and win, it's just more or less of a formality. It is, oh, okay, yeah, City won again. All right, fair enough. That's number 5 in a row. Okay, kind of thing. That is inevitable in itself. No one's going to look at you funny if Manchester City win the Premier League. We all expect it. Even now, we still expect something to kind of happen. If Liverpool go and win the Premier League, or any other team for that matter, that's where it becomes a different kind of conversation. Now, obviously, I also know that Edu has now left the club as well. Is that going to change things in terms of in the boardroom, in terms of the transfers? How does that work? That is going to be so key for Arsenal moving forward. Because I know a lot of Arsenal fans talk about, yeah, we need a striker. We don't have someone, who's able to, put the ball in the back of the net, in a consistent rate and stuff like that. Even though they have got Kai Havertz, who, if I'm being honest, has been, in my opinion, I think he's been pretty decent Do you know what I mean? Like for as in terms of a signing, he's got 17 games, 7 goals and an assist. He's been okay. He's been okay. Could be better, of course, but so can the whole team. But when I'm looking at them, I'm just like, fans are telling me, yeah, if we get a striker in, it's game done. Yeah, it's over. I don't think it's that simple. And like I said, I still think the way that you guys play, the style of play that you guys have at this current moment in time is the thing is, I understand almost to a degree as to why he's trying to play the way that he's playing, in terms of you're almost trying to go so defensively resolute that you're being undone anyway, regardless. I mean, as I said before, they're still conceding quite a lot of goals this season. So it's not like the way that they're playing is helping them defensively. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sorry, I can't always just attribute that to just, oh, well, this player's injured or this guy's not really playing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes it is just genuinely about the style of play that you have, not necessarily being conducive to what you're actually trying to do. The problem that you've got now is that just at this moment in time, listen, Arsenal have had tough games this season. That's the Villas, the Chelseas, the Liverpools and stuff like that, Manchester Cities and etc. Fair enough. I can give you that. But what's to say things are just automatically going to change later on? So if you go on a run, and this is where Arsenal fans confuse themselves and very, contradictory is that. So if you go on a run right now and you start winning games and Havertz start scoring goals, do you still need a striker? Does that change? What's the difference going to be? I don't think it's just as simple as, yeah, we get a striker in, we automatically, we're back in the title race and etc. I don't think it works like that. I think there's still other bits to your game that you guys are kind of lacking. I know, they signed in Marino in the summer. That God knows for how long it took for them to get him in, but cool, they got him in. I still think, players like Trossard, they're okay. They're one of those kind of players, but again, bench kind of player. I just think the quality of players that, no one for Saka, but maybe they don't really care about that. I mean, we don't really have no one for Mo Salah, but I guess it's one of those things, right? I just think that the problem that they've got is obviously the depth of quality that they have in reserve. So that can impact you. Last couple of seasons, bar the first title challenge that they had, where Saliba got injured towards the end, which for some reason just unraveled everything. But then last season, barely getting any injuries outside of Partey and obviously Timber long-term injuries. This season, they've just had injuries, just dotted. And I just think that Mikel Arteta is struggling with trying to find a way to play with the players that he has actually got or has had available. And then the excuse then comes out with, oh, we've got injuries. Having the injuries, listen, I'm not trying to say you can't use that to a degree. Of course, no one's going to be playing at their best if they don't have their best players. It's kind of hard to do. You need your best players. That's why they are called your best players. But you still then haven't found a way anyway. Even when you did have your best players, it's not like Arsenal were playing really good football and all of that kind of stuff. For some weird reason, I really don't understand why he's moved away almost from what he did in, say, season 1. Season 1 was a bit more gung-ho, fair enough. Last season, it was a bit more measured. I feel like he's gone from gung-ho to a bit more measured and control to now, he's just completely just gone the other way. He's just completely gone the other way, and now it's really come back. Like, you're not creating that many chances, you're not playing that well, which I feel then makes it even more difficult, because it's different when you're creating a lot of chances and then people are just not putting it away. Then you can attribute it to things like, oh, if we get a better players and this, that, and the third kind of thing, no worries. Then I can kind of agree with that. But when you're in a position now where you're not really doing that too tough, then I'm just like, well, you're making it very, very difficult. Do you get what I'm saying? You're making it real difficult for yourselves now, because now you are really trying to find that perfect goal, and then or a set piece or whatever it might be, in order for you to, go out and win games. And I just think they're just lacking. I don't know. It's almost like you're just lacking that bite this season for some weird reason. I don't know if it's, listen, Liverpool have been there. We've been there and done that, where you're tired of Manchester City. You're tired. You're tired. You're tired. I'm telling you now, you are tired. Man is tired of chasing this team. Man is tired of battling with this team. I'm tired of winning games and then they go and win and all of that. I'm tired. I'm super duper tired. So maybe Arsenal are just tired now and they're like, you know what? We can't keep doing this, man. I can't keep going through this and this hassle here. And you know what? Because things have been kind of smooth sailing in the last couple of seasons, as soon as there's a hiccup, this is where I always say with managers, This is where you earn your money. Let me see what you're about right now. Because it's all easy when you got players, you can play the same 11 every single week. Liverpool exhibited that when we won the Premier League. They're able to play the same players every single week. Calm, easy. If you do that, and on paper, you probably do have the one of, if not the best 11 in the Premier League. If you just looked at it on paper, if not joint with Liverpool, if not second, just behind Liverpool. However you want to kind of toss it up. Yeah, that's easy. What are you like now in these kind of stages? Get a few injuries. Let's see what you're about. Let's see what you can do. Are you as good as you say you are? Is your team as good as you guys say that they actually are? Questions are being asked. Obviously, you still got a star boy. I know obviously picked up a knock, of course, but still got a star boy. Got 4 goals, 7 assists in all competitions, 3 and 7, you know, in the Premier League. But it's just one of those. It's one of those kind of things. I think at the moment with Arsenal is that are they able to really show that they have the ability, regardless of what's going on around them, to be able to, you know, take them, you know, to kind of like the next level, you know, because as I keep saying again, even with the defense, you know, there had been a lot of talk, you know, Gabriel and Saliba, the 2 best centre back pairing, all of it. And this is how you know football is such a fickle game. All it took was maybe like a 3 or 4 game swing. All of a sudden, now it's Van Dijk and Konate. No, it's Van Dijk, Konate. Those 2 are the best. All of a sudden, even though they were there from before, but now all of a sudden, these 2 are the best. But prior to this 3-4 game swing, it was Gabriel and Saliba. Yo, those 2 are, you know, they're really on job. They're doing this, they're doing that, and yada yada yada, and all these kind of things. Let's see what Mikel Arteta and the team, by the way, because this is, like I said, this is where you really show people. This is where you really let us know, are you guys really about it, or do you need everything to be perfect? You need everything to just the stars for all the stars to align, and then you're good to go. So no injuries or whatever. If so, then you're not winning the Premier League. Then it tells me that you can't win the Premier League. Let's see that first, and then we can take it from there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because the reality is these are the kind of things that are, you know, bound to happen to any team. But if your team and your manager and the players and everything and the staff, if they all believe in their own abilities, they should be able to, you know, go on out there and, to be honest, just do better than what they're doing. Again, I'm not even saying necessarily it has to be a case of, you know, winning every single game. These are tough games that you've been playing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this next 10 games is going to tell us a different potential story, you know, kind of thing. But I do think certain things do need to improve just a little bit. The fact that Martin Odegaard is your 3rd highest assist, and the guy's been injured for God knows how long, speaks kind of volumes. Do you get what I mean? Like Saka's on 7, expected. Havertz on 4, Saka on 3, Martinelli on 3, Trossard on 2. I just think that you guys need to, you know, pattern it up a little bit in terms of style of play, but also I just think it's there's just something like the bite. And this is more for the team. For the fans, you just need to keep quiet. You're in no position to be telling anybody what to do about anything. You have no idea. You know what I mean? You're still little boys in this thing. Yeah, what I mean, and that's not. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but you are. You are little boys, you know, to everybody, because you haven't won anything, you haven't done anything. You know, you've shown that you're a good team, but that's it. Spurs were a good team, didn't win nothing. Heck, they at least got to a Champions League final. To be fair to Spurs, you know, so I just think that for the team in itself, you know, Mikel Arteta, he's got these next 2 weeks to work with the team before their next game. I believe it's against Nottingham Forest, who are actually level on points with them at this current moment in time. I just think that go away, see how we can, you know, you've got. I'm assuming that players are coming back and stuff like that. You just need to. I just think you're just lacking like a bite or something in there. I don't know exactly what the word is or what exactly it is, but you're just missing, you know, something within that. And ultimately, I just think that's just what's holding you guys back at this moment in time. And if I'm being honest as well, quite a lot of your players are kind of not playing in form at this moment in time. They're playing a bit below average, a bit too consistently. And that's obviously going to cause a problem in long term anyway for your team if you've got too many players who are performing consistently average. It just doesn't really work, if I'm being totally honest with you. So yeah, there's a lot to be, you know, there's a lot of work, but as I say, they're getting players back, hopefully for their own sake, you know, that these players can then contribute, you know, to the team then moving forward. And then like I said, in these next 9-10 games, when we get to that game week 20, we're then looking at a completely different kind of story. But if it continues in the way that it's been going, where it's all up and down and the team still don't really look like, you know, that they're going to create too much in order for them to get, you know, go out there and win games and, you know, or, you know, just be put in convincing performances, then it's just not going to end well, if I'm being totally honest with you. Like, if I'm being totally honest with you, that's just, you know, the way that I kind of see it. But let's wait and see, of course. You know what I mean? These things, as I say, they take time. They take time. So let's wait and see. Let me know, of course, your thoughts in the comment section, people. If you're watching this, of course, on the replay, then please let me know in terms of what percentage would you give Arsenal's chances of winning the Premier League. Mine will be pinned to this video, so make sure you guys check that out. We're back same time tomorrow with Chelsea's title chances. So let me know what you guys think in regards to that. Have a blessed evening, everybody, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.